which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures He chose us to be high. To Him we belong, to Him is our return. Life in this world is only a sojourn. To the angels He commanded that man be respected. Shaitan heeded not, and so was he rejected. Compared to the angels, we are but clay. As long as Allah we obey, we'll not go astray.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our show Islamic Law Today. Today, as usual, we have with us Professor Muhammad Naem Asaee. Thank you for being with us. Professor Muhammad Naem Asaee is a professor in several American universities in America. And he's a permanent member in the Fatwa Committee in North America as well. And I would like to remind our viewers that they can communicate with us through our email, islamiclawtoday@huda.tv, or they can call us in the second and the third segment at 00202 3855 248 or 249. In the last episode, Professor Muhammad, we were talking about terrorism, and specifically about the political terrorism. And you spoke about how Islam prevented this problem from the beginning and solved this problem, and how the Islam can help to solve this problem if it happens. And after this, we spoke about the social terrorism, and you give us some examples, like the type of social terrorism that happens between the husband and wife, or the employer with his employees. Is there more other type of social terrorism in that field, and how Islam can fix and prevent this type of terrorism and problems?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. اللهم يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم أني أسألك في هذه الساعة يا رب العالمين أن تفرج الكرب عنا وعن المكروبين، وأن تنفس الهم وعن المهمومين، أن ترفع البلاء عن أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وأن ترفع الظلم عن المظلومين في أنحاء الأرض كلها يا رب العالمين. I would like just take this opportunity before I start to congratulate my son Hamza by saying to him, my son, congratulations, being a medical doctor. I wasn't there when it's happening in your graduation ceremony, but my heart was with you. I ask Allah for yourself and for every young Muslim in this world to take this trust and this responsibility, inshallah ta'ala, for the best, for the whole Muslims, for the whole mankind, inshallah ta'ala. And as I said on many occasions, I would like to see the renewal and revival of this Islam and this principle and values in every field, even in the field of medicine, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
To be a doctor seeking for being a scientist, to serve the whole mankind, inshallah ta'ala. To revive and renew the manners and principles and values of doctors. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make everything in this world for the interest and the best interest for the whole mankind, inshallah ta'ala.
Allahumma ameen. And we would like to congratulate him as well.
Jazakumullah khairan. La ilaha illallah. When I talk about social terrorism, and I said that it does happen everywhere, it's going on everywhere, not just in West, in the East, and because the absence of the understanding of the nature of the relationship between people. And unfortunately, the more we are advanced in our technology, our knowledge, the more we are going further to the wild life. And this is amazing. As if that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending message to the people in this time, on the whole earth. It is not the issue of how much knowledge you have, how much sophisticated maybe machine you are able to use. You are going to the maybe different space, discovering different planet. It is not the issue here. The issue how to understand your existence in this world. What is your real mission? How to organize your relationship between yourself, among yourself, and your relationship between yourself and others, including maybe living things and non-living things. Islam was so advanced in all these meanings. When it comes to the social life, Islam has put many maybe rules and put a very solid foundation to understand the nature of this relationship between you and others. This is disregarding or maybe regardless of the nature of the person you are dealing with. Sometimes you are in a process or a relationship with non-Muslim maybe. Maybe sometimes relationship with your enemy. Islam has put all these rules and foundation to make you understand it is not sometimes when you are over someone that meant to be this way to show off or to feel that you are better than someone. It is just, as we said in the other episode, a kind of test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you have with yourself, with others, to fulfill the meaning of this message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In regarding of social life, when the Prophet ﷺ said, just to bring some examples here, how to take the philosophy of your nature, but the nature of your relationship with others. كلكم راع, very famous saying of the Prophet ﷺ, كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. That every one of you could be taking the status of being in charge of someone else. The word of ra means shepherd, maybe literally, but does not mean literal meaning here. It means that you are in charge of something. You are in charge of your family inside your home because you are the father. Woman, as he said, alayhi salam, wife, was zawjatu, a wife is in charge of her house. Children among themselves, they are in charge of each other, maybe the elder one in charge of the younger one. So everyone is in charge of some trust, some responsibilities. This mission is not to give you a feeling that you are better than someone. You are here to be tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to fulfill the responsibilities of this mission. So imagine that if the relationship between husband and wife has started by this meaning. I am in charge of her, she is in charge of me. We are cooperating together to reach a very common goal among ourselves, to build this beautiful family, to be maybe part of the whole building of the whole nation, part of the building of the whole maybe world, the whole earth, because good family means good maybe neighborhood. Good neighborhood means good
community.
Subhanallah, community. And then you go further and further to cover the whole maybe world. And from that meaning, Islam has put in the same time not just the understanding of being in charge, being responsible, to be held accountable for any action you are taking against someone else under your maybe authority. But at the same time, Islam has put the right here. You cannot just keep saying to someone, you are the boss, you are the manager, you are the husband, take care of your kids, take care of your employees, and that's it. You have to say at the same time, and I have to tell you that you have right, they have right. Both of you, they have right. You cannot just take from their right and add it to your right. You have to understand that it is like one team working together in different positions, different maybe titles, but at the end, you are all of you to reach one goal. Like ship or maybe boat, all of you, you are a captain maybe. Maybe they are the sailors. Maybe he's the cook inside the big ship. But all of them, You are working together to just complete this mission and to say we have made this trip and was very successful trip at the end. And we come back to our shore safely and successfully.
Inshallah.
So this is the life here. It's like an ocean or sea. All of us, we are in that boat, and we have to reach our destiny safely and successfully, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah. Even in Arabic, the word mas'ul, أنا مسؤول عن حد, I'm responsible of someone. Literally, the word mas'ul means that I will be questionable, like somebody will question me about this. But even though that it means that I'm responsible of someone else, or might be I'm like the ruler or the boss of someone, but the word mas'ul means that somebody will question me about what I've done to these people, if I act justly with them or not.
Exactly.
Yes.
The other point Islam has made is to prevent the problem from the beginning of it, or before it does start. When Islam tell everyone it is another field of worshipping. You are in charge, they have right, but at the same time you could take the field of being responsible or being in charge or being authorized person as a field of worshipping. The same way you are considering the mosque, maybe pilgrimage, or maybe fast, doing any kind of worshipping. You could take this field as a very great field of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and gaining good deeds. At the same time, you might be in a trouble if you did not understand the meaning of this field. So when Islam, just an example, said to its followers that even when you are giving a bite of food, put it in the mouth of your wife, or maybe to your kids, you are taking good deeds.
Yes.
Considered as maybe charity. Charity, you are not giving charity to them. The real meaning, sadaqah. Sadaqah is for yourself. As if that you are trying to save yourself from being in a trouble in this life, or maybe in a chaos in this life, or to be like punished in hereafter by giving charity to yourself. وَاللُّقْمَةُ تَضَعَ فِي زَوْجَتِكَ صدقة أو لك بها أجر. You will take good deeds to be considered as a charity. So as if that you are saving yourself and you are helping yourself. Just imagine when someone is doing all these good manners, all this good behavior in his life, he is not thinking that he is doing favor to them. He is doing favor to himself. This is another meaning of the advanced Islamic teaching. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
But I want to stop here about the expression that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used, which is put the food in the mouth of your wife. He did not say give the food and she will eat. The whole thing is the picture itself, that he will put, like there's kindness and there's tenderness and there's love in it. It shows the whole atmosphere of this concept. It's how beautiful it is that you put with your hand the food in the mouth of your wife.
Subhanallah, subhanallah, as if that the Prophet is thinking us just be passionate, you know.
Yes.
Not just be like execute us to my order. Be passionate and be a passionate husband. And all this, you know, what they talk sometimes about the atmosphere between the wife and husband has been told by the Prophet a long time ago, subhanallah. We are in need to go back to his word, alayhi salatu wasalam, his way of teaching, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his way of actions, the practical sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Yes. And going back to the part that you said that the leader or the one who is responsible is an act of worshipping, that reminds me by a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that one of the seventh that they will be under the shade of Allah is Imamun Adil, which is really to confirm what you are saying. Yes. It's a very important part of worshipping as well, to be fair and just with your people.
Yes.
That's Imamun Adil. And I believe Imamun Adil doesn't mean necessarily a president, but a leader.
Specifically in this hadith, meant to be the big head, you know, the big
head, the big one.
Yeah.
The big boss.
And you could take, you know, the same meaning, maybe going down the road, you know, everyone who's in charge of anything.
Yes.
but just mainly to that person, if he will be acting in that philosophy and in that meaning, you could imagine how much goodness he will bring to his people and to the whole world.
Yes. This is before if any problem happens. What if the problem already happened?
Subhanallah, before they innovate what we call it right now, the right, like worker right, woman right, anyone right, Islam has in his advanced teaching, because this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows subhanahu wa ta'ala what does fit people in this earth. Islam has come with the right of the people, and if something happened during the road, during the mission, during this trip in this life between two persons or two parties, they have an agreement, they have relationship, they have business, they have anything, Islam has put the right for both sides to solve this problem. Just imagine that if someone was complaining about his boss, that he is using him beyond what does the contract tell. And I have witnessed this in my life. I was witnessing people somewhere in this world. They are abusing the other's right. They are taking the advantage of being in charge just to deal with others like a slave. Exactly.
Yes.
I can remember that someone, he was an engineer, a cultural engineer. I was doing everything. Was working in the farm, everything. And our Islam said, the Muslim scholar, the Muslim jurist, Muslims, long time ago, they said you have to look at the contract, عقد الإجارة. And this agreement between you and your worker has to be fulfilled. Exactly. If the worker wants to give you more than what being written in the contract, it's up to him. But you cannot use him for something that was not in the contract. And he has a right to complain his issue to the judge. The Muslim judge will intervene and he will tell the employer, the manager, the owner of the company, that you cannot use your worker but to what the contract has been showing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he has the right to leave the work, leave the job with compensation.
Yes, I'm sorry for interruption, but we have to go for a quick break and we'll come back. Please stay with us. We have a lot of information to say and how these problems can be solved, so stay with us.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
You have questions that bother you. What about issues of concern to you? Would you like to share things on your mind with us? Are you interested in solutions based on an Islamic perspective? Please join me live in Meet Your Advisor every Friday at 9 p.m. Mecca time, here on Huda TV.
How to be proactive in Islam, how to serve our religion, how to serve our life.
No, we want them to be proactive in matters that are related to their ummah, the true leader. And this is maybe we need to have this, okay, among us as Muslims. The true leader is the one who creates leaders.
So the society at the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, gave the chance for the children to blossom.
Now who took the reward of this? The initiative of Ali bin Abi Talib. Ali bin Abi Talib took the reward because of his initiative.
How long have you been passive? How much time have you lost in your life because of negativity? Learn how to take conscious control over your life. Set your goals and work to achieve them in an Islamic way.
If you really love your wife, your children, your parents, your people, then you have to do your utmost. You have to do whatever you can in order to invite them to Islam. We are in need for this reminder. The main point is ikhlas, is sincerity, is what I want to get in the hereafter.
Join Sheikh Haytham Al-Haddad and his host, Muhammad Abdurrahim, in this inspiring show.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Welcome back. Before going to the break, Professor Muhammad, you were talking about the relationship between the employer and the employee, and that sometimes the employers abuse the contract and give more responsibilities to the employee that did not mentioned in the contract. And you said that the employee in this case has the right to file a complaint or to leave. But what if that employee cannot find another job and he feel injustice and he cannot file a complaint? He cannot get, and I know this for a fact, I saw this scenarios, that even if they file the complaint, it will backfire on him. And he cannot find another job to leave this job. What kind of thoughts that can ease his thoughts if he knows that Islam says this about his situation, or what will happen next and hereafter in the Akhirah, Judgment Day?
Well, what happens, subhanahu wa ta'ala, most likely when the people are using taking advantage of someone who's in need to the job or to be working to them, taking this advantage and abusing his right, and he's accepting the job even it's like overloaded to his capability because he is in need to that. Islam has mentioned this issue, generalizing the very important point that anything you are taking in this life out of your right, or maybe with the sword of maybe shyness or necessities or need to someone, you are taking something in the hellfire. When he said sallallahu alayhi wasallam, ما أخذ بسيف الحياة فالنار أولى به, taking anything without having this full satisfaction among the two parties, as if that you are buying a car from someone. You know that person is very in need to sell his car, and even he's not aware about the market price or the value.
Or maybe sometimes he knows the market value, but he is really in need.
Exactly. And you are taking the advantage of that person, and you are giving very low price or low value to his car. Maybe the contract is valid, but you have another contract. You did not make it valid. The contract between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what Allah said subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَ تِجَارَةً عَنْ تَرَاضٍ مِنْكُمْ. Tijara عن تراضٍ منكم, not just بينكم. It has to be this deal. It has to be with full satisfaction, full pleasant from among yourselves. It has to come from inside.
For both parties.
Yes, you have to make sure that you are selling your merchandise to someone and he's very satisfied with this merchandise. You are taking the money from him. He's very pleased with your price. And the other person is very pleased to give you this price and give you this money. And you are very pleased if you are the buyer. You know that the seller is very pleased with your money. He is very satisfied with the money you gave him. So it has to be a common satisfaction among the two parties. But if you are taking advantage of someone, selling or buying, maybe you are making a good deal in this life, but you are doing a very bad deal hereafter. Now, what is the status of this deal? Suppose someone said to the judge, my judge, or your owner, I did accept this deal, and I made this deal, I did sign the deal because I was in need. The law does not protect that person, because the law has, Islamic law, has made him aware in the beginning. You are not in a position that you have to sign the contract. It's up to you. If you did sign it because you want, because you are in need to this money, it's your problem. But the other person has to take this responsibility in hereafter. That's why Islam has put it like in between. You might make it valid contract here, but no blessing here, and the contract is not being finished in hereafter. You will be responsible for that in hereafter. That's why we have the hadith, نهى النبي عن بيع المضطر. نهى عن بيع المضطر. Many scholars say this is like, it's not like to forbid, it's like to make it a cut lawful, but just to make it a dislikable issue, because you never know exactly if this is like that case of necessity or because he wanted to sell his merchandise or his good, so you have to help him buying or selling this one. So sometimes you cannot judge it exactly or correctly, but in general you have to be very aware of taking money of someone or buying something from someone without having this kind of deep feeling that it is happening with a full satisfaction between you and another.
And sometimes the situation is even worse, that someone works for someone and he does the job for him, and after this he doesn't give him the complete right because he has the upper hand. He is the one who's in control of the money, and take it or leave it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now if we talk about social terrifying or tourism, maybe what we have said till this moment does not maybe bring the picture of terror to our viewers. But if you just start by these little meanings here, maybe a little event might take a place in our practical life, that will lead definitely to the picture of terrifying the manager or the husband or maybe the employer to terrify. And we know this as a fact.
Yes.
We know as a fact that some bosses, some maybe managers, some CEO in some companies, they are using their position to abuse their workers to the extent of having sexual relationship with them. Isn't that terrifying?
Yes, it is.
You are stealing the honor of someone, stealing the freedom of someone because you are in charge of someone. And this is happening. This is going on.
Yes.
And someone is taking advantage of some of his workers, like happenings everywhere in the Arab and Muslim countries, because he is the officer, the big one, and he has soldiers. His job, the soldiers, is to guard that maybe office only.
Yes.
He's using him in everything. He's the cook, he is the servant,
he's the housekeeper of
everything, because he is in charge of that person. This is totally haram, forbidden, prohibited, unlawful. And that will be like opening the hell, astaghfirullah al-azim, to that person who is not feeling the responsibility of being questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine the Muslim jurists long time ago, when they said that it is up to the contract. You have to be bound by the contract. Whether that contract was like verbally being taken or maybe in written. But you have to bind by this contract. If you go beyond that or maybe over the contract even will be invalid. Like suppose someone, I said to someone, I would like you to take me to that place using his car, like a taxi cab, right?
Yes.
And there's no like certain
tariff
they call it for this taxi cab, like what's going on in Arab countries, most of them. And he said, take me to that place. He said, how much? And the taxi driver cab said, well, it does not matter, just I will take you. This is an invalid contract.
Yes.
He
was not specific.
Invalid contract. So now, after he arrived at the place, now what is the solution of this problem? The taxi cab driver cannot ask what he wants, and that person cannot give what he wants. He should pay what's being common known as a very just tariff for this trip.
Yes.
But that will ends up with these people with trouble.
Yes.
That was said has to be known from the beginning. How much you take to take me to that place to be like a valid contract. This is like very little issue. What about if you are hiring someone to build a building, or maybe hiring someone to make a project? It has to be written, it has to be known to everyone. If you are renting a home of someone or store for someone, everything has to be written just to make the right of both parties very clear, so no one will go beyond his right, no one will abuse the other's right. This is very Islamic and very Islamic law issues.
Yes. Now that was, do you want to add anything else for the social terrorism, or we can
just
go ahead?
Very, very little things, because this is going on at the same time to bring the picture of terror or social terror or terrorism going on in our modern time. All of us, we know about the human trafficking, right?
Yes.
And this is going on. This does not go under any law. It's not legal in any country. But what is going on, and it is legal by the modern law, when someone is hiring someone to use his body. And now we are talking about the modern slavery in our modern time. This is, I call it, the social terror or social terrorism. When someone is terrifying someone by using his body, by taking him as a slave, by contract, when they are taking this little girl or little lady in these maybe companies or maybe magazines, and they made a contract that they are free to use her body or his body any way they want, the whole duration of this contract. And this is like a kind of slavery, kind of terrifying. It's not suit the nature of human beings. No one does like to be like a slave, for his body to be used the way they want. But because they are looking for a job, or maybe searching for a fame, to be famous people, they are just disregarding these very important human values and principles. Islam is against this.
Yes. Someone that I'm sure that he says the truth. He said that when somebody volunteer in the military in the United States of America, he has to sign a contract that says, there is a part in the contract that says that his body become the U.S. property, like his body become a property that belongs to the U.S. Army, that does not, he has no power on it anymore.
Well, maybe this one does not fit in what we are talking about, because you can say that my body, my soul, my spirit, my everything is to the service of my country. It comes in that meaning. You know.
I see.
But what I meant, different companies and maybe magazines, they are using the body of maybe women, just to make it as a very ugly, business. This is like a very pure slavery in our modern time. Islam was against that long time ago.
Yes. Now, let's talk about a different type of terrorism, which is the ideological terrorism, like someone who has an ideology and he believes that this is the only ideology, or this is the point of view, his point of view is the right one, and if you have a different point of view, he will torture you, he will put you in jail, he will fire you. This kind of, is this considered type of terrorism as well?
Well, this kind of terrorism or terror start from the meaning of what is the field you and I were able to argue. What is the arguable issues in our life? What kind of maybe issues we are able to accept.
I'm sorry for the interruption, but we have to go for a quick break. We will continue, inshallah, in the third segment. We will go for a quick break and we will come back soon, inshallah.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
In your standpoint of view, are there specific or certain criteria to choose your spouse or a partner, to marry or not to marry? Maybe that's the question. Do we revise the quality of performance of our treatment between the family members as fathers or mothers, as they say usually, it's not what you say, it's how would you say it. Wouldn't you like to be a good storyteller for your kids? Neurobiologically speaking, child abuse and emotional trauma causes scars in the brain of the child, and this might be not easily healing. What's the exact job description of a father? Is it clothing, payments, and feeding, or other important things? Well, I think the job description of a father is merely giving him love and care, self-confidence, giving him sense of security, and checking for the points of strength to stress on them. What about potty training and its planning? Oh yeah, actually, it's a state, it's a condition. Fatherhood is not a body or a person, it's a state. Are you a good or skillful designer for the policy and the long-term plans of the life of your kids? Join us every Wednesday for Family Issues.
Dear viewers, Hoda programs can be watched in the English section of the in-flight entertainment directory on board all Saudi airline flights, domestic and international. Sit back, relax and enjoy watching Hoda's entertaining and enlightening shows on your trip. Hoda wishes you a safe and successful journey. Hoda, a light in every home.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Welcome back. Professor Muhammad, before we went to the break, you were talking about the ideological kind of terrorism, and you were giving us some examples, and you were explaining your point of view. If you please proceed.
I just remembered something. Maybe it's very important to take permission of our viewers regarding the social terror or terrorism, because this is a very common issue, very famous, and some people, they have misunderstood this issue in Islam regarding woman right in Islam. And we said before that Islam has put its rules and foundation, how to educate people about their right. So we prevent the unjust action, we prevent aggression, we present terrorism, we present violence from its the beginning. And even if this happens, Islam has a solution for all this. Just a quick example about relationship between woman and man, wife and husband. Maybe they don't know that Islam, even if he give the husband the right of divorcing his wife, and he did not make it generally up to the woman to divorce herself or divorce her husband, because Islam wants to keep this family. And Islam knows, because Allah knows subhanahu wa ta'ala, that woman very emotional, more than man. Islam does not want to break this beautiful building. But even though Islam has given the woman, the wife, the right, whatever she feels that it is not for her interest, best interest, and interest means here in Islam, her interest here and hereafter, always. Interest in Islam means your interest here in this life, to live with dignity, with freedom, with decent life, with full right, and your interest hereafter, to be saved in the Day of Judgment. So if the wife felt any time that this kind of marriage does not serve her best interest here and hereafter, Islam has made a choice for the woman to tell her husband, my husband, you are a very good one, I have no problem with you, I have no complaint about your manners, your behavior, your practice, anything, but I cannot continue with you. Husband in Islam cannot say no.
And by the Islamic
By
law,
the Islamic
she
law,
can go to the judge.
she has
and
the
finish.
full right to ask. We call it khula. Khula means she is taking by her authority, by her right, the marriage life to the end, asking for the separation between her and her husband.
Even if the husband does
Even
not.
the husband refused that. He cannot refuse that. Even the husband said, I love you, I want you. She said, I respect you, but I cannot continue with you. In that case, Islam has said that he has a right to ask for some compensation because she is bringing some damage to the life by her choice, to his marriage, by his choice, by her choice. So it's very fair and just for the husband to ask for compensation for this. But although we keep saying to the husband, it is better to not ask for anything. Just let it go this way. But she has a right. And if the husband refuses to make this, she has a right to go to the judge, Muslim judge, and the judge has a right to tell the husband, you do it or I will do it.
Okay. So it's
You
better
do it
for him
or I
to
will
do
do
it by himself.
So this is like the beauty of Islam, how Islam, if something happened down the road, did not make the deal, and marriage is a deal. It's the most maybe honorable deal, the most noble deal. You are making a deal with your wife to make this beautiful house, beautiful family, beautiful step or maybe block in this beautiful building. So suppose down the road the deal was not going very good for you or for her. Islam has made a choice for both husband and wife.
But talking about this issue, sometimes, the husband has some rights. And if he sees that it's not for the best interest for the family, for example, for the wife to go visit her family, and he says, you are not going to visit your family, it will look like if this is kind of social terrorism from the husband toward the wife. But in fact, it's his right to do so. How we can solve this problem?
No, Islam has said long time ago, and all the Muslim scholars and jurists, they said that husband cannot prevent her wife to generally not just visit her family, to make her relationship with her family in a good rank, in a good level, in a good status. Sometimes by calling them, sometimes by visiting them, sometimes by sending gift. So it has to be generally seen as a good relationship between the wife and her family. Husband cannot make relationship between his wife and her family to be like a disaster. He cannot prevent that. He might be able to prevent her by visiting them in this specific day, maybe.
Yes.
That specific time.
Yeah, so this is what I mean.
But he cannot, he has no right to say, no visiting to your family.
Yes.
No calling to your family.
Yes, of course.
No gift to your family. He cannot do that.
Yes. Let's talk about if it's specific day, a specific situation, circumstances, and she wants to visit her family. In this case, is it good looking to see the husband using this right, and it will look like he's abusing his rights, or this is it's kind of social terrorism? How we can solve this dilemma?
Well, it depends sometimes on the judgment of the husband and how much he is complying with the Islamic teaching and ruling. If he is a good husband and he is good, he's a Muslim, good Muslim practice Muslim, he's considering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pleasant and the Prophet ﷺ pleasant, and he is preventing his wife specifically in this time because the best interest for the whole family, that would be a good issue. But suppose the wife did not, was not convinced by his opinion. She has a right to raise his issue to the judge, the Muslim judge. And Muslim judge will intervene and see if this is the right decision or not. If he finds that it's not the right decision, he will tell the husband, you have no right, and he might compensate the wife for that thing. But generally speaking, it's some kind of general understanding to the nature of the relationship and the marriage itself. What we are seeing in our practical life, unfortunately, most of the people, they don't understand this. And just the issue of like wife asking divorce or asking separation from her husband. And Muslim jurists said long time ago, all of them, if she's asking for this separation because the unjust behavior to her husband, he has no right to take any compensation. She has the right to ask for separation without paying anything, because she is asking this under maybe the circumstances of being abused or being oppressed by her husband. So khula in Islam only in the case that is a just and fair relation between husband and wife. But if the judge finds out that it's some kind of oppression or aggression or violence from the husband toward his wife, he has no right to take any opinion from his wife.
I see.
Yes.
I believe that we have not much time for the ideological terrorism, but we can speak about it
very short to make like introduction to it.
Yes, inshallah.
The problem of ideological maybe terror or terrorism comes from the mind, from the thought. Very early when people, they don't know what is their limit to accept or to refuse other opinion. They don't have what they call it the methodology, how to differentiate between what should be acceptable as arguable issue and what should not be acceptable as arguable issue. And what is the right of someone who has a right, who has an opinion, and he has no opportunity to bring his opinion to the surface. All these issues Islam has solved it long time ago. And you cannot find this but in Islam, because this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can see in some other maybe environment that it is like open. Everything is arguable.
Yes.
Islam does not believe in this. Or you could find in some other way, nothing is arguable. It is just the ruler opinion, the ruling party opinion. It is just the maybe Muslim group opinion or ideology or thought. You could find all of this, but Islam has come with different view, different maybe vision, because does not go this way or the other way. Otherwise, you will end up with a trouble and disaster. If you said that if everything is arguable in this life, that means you are going to take some very important and fundamental principles and values in this life to serve the issue of being free to say what you want or to believe what you want. Islam said no. We have to put some kind of maybe rules and some kind of maybe law to just rule the arguable issues in this life. And maybe next episode we'll talk about this kind of very high level methodology in Islam, how to differentiate between what is like fundamental, does not accept to be arguable issue, what is should be or could be arguable issue in Islam.
Yes, I see the relationship between the social terrorism and the ideological terrorism here. They are all related to each other. Like, for example, if the boss and the employer has one opinion and the employees have another opinion, or the manager has an opinion and the employees have another opinion, and he terrorized them by saying, if you have different opinion, I will fire you. This is kind of a social terrorism and at the same time an ideology terrorism as well. SubhanAllah, everything is linked to each other in a way that it's, I believe, the solution has to come with education. Like, we have to educate people from the very beginning to know that it's a whole package. The system, you cannot just pick and choose.
SubhanAllah, that we keep saying that Muslims, non-Muslims, they need to see an example, a real example, how to make this combination between all these beautiful things in Islam, how to cut the root of all this terror and terrorism, whether was it in the field of like politics or maybe social or maybe military or educational or anything, has to come together to bring this beautiful picture. And that was what's going on exactly in the first generation, the first maybe period of Islamic history. You can see this maybe next video will bring many examples. How Muslims, they were very advanced in their thought, very advanced in their understanding, how to accept others' opinion, others maybe theories, others maybe theology or maybe theory. In many fields, according to this Islamic methodology, how to make it very acceptable and very, what they call it, flexible in the same time. Very firm and very flexible in the same time. Very firm to protect the whole mankind, and very flexible to make the people enjoying having different opinions and maybe different thought.
How we can tell people what are the topics that are acceptable as arguable topics, and the topics that they are not arguable topics, like in quick examples, because some people who wants to encourage. I'm sorry, the director just told me now that we have no time.
Next time,
inshallah. Thank you very much, Professor Muhammad, for being with us and share your knowledge with us. Dear viewers, inshallah, we will meet you again next week. Please, you can contact us through our email, islamiclawtoday@huda.tv. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Much of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures He chose us to be high. To Him we belong, to Him is our return. Life in this world is only a sojourn. To the angels He commanded that man be respected. Shaitan he did not, and so was he rejected. Compared to the angels, we are but clay. As long as Allah we obey, we'll not go astray. As the best of His creation, only us did He deem. This for us is honor, this high esteem. His qudrat it is that cause winds to blow. He gives us provision so that we may grow.